Hi everyone. Had a few queries come in about where to find this little beauty here. It's the drain valve, because a lot of you want to drain the system out one reason or another, usually to put inhibitor in because you've got problems, and a lot of you can't find the drain valve. And I've had a few who've come back looking at a drain valve by the hot water tank, which I'm going to show you now, and this is not the one, alright. I'll just show you this one right off now. Now here is the drain off valve for the hot water cylinder. This one's to be found near and by the cylinder, and a lot of people are getting confused that this valve drains the central heating system out. Well, I can assure you that most times that is not the case. This is usually for draining out the hot water tank, and a way of telling that is just to follow the pipe back, follow the way it goes back behind the tank, because 9 times out of 10, not always I know, but you will find a gate valve on there which is used to shut the pipe work off there and isolate and drain the hot water cylinder, and that is normally what that one's for. So if you see the drain valve by the hot water tank and it's going into it there, that is not the one for central heating, okay? A lot of people are getting confused with that one, and it is a popular mistake. Some people have actually drained out their hot water cylinders instead of the central heating system. Okay, so if you see that one there going in, that is not the one, okay? I will show you the ones on this sketch. Right, here's our first schematic on this side of the paper of a normal F&E system. And as you can see, we've got our little tank, our F&E tank here, and our domestic tank over here. And the one that people are getting, like I've just showed you, confused with this one here, which is coming from our domestic tank and is feeding the cylinder, and then the water comes out and goes off to our taps. And that is not the one, okay? You can see there that is to drain that hot water tank off. So, you know, don't get confused with this one. Alright, the one to look for will always be on the bottom of your system, downstairs if you live in a house, on the very lowest point, and even if you live in a bungalow, the very lowest point. And if you've got a boiler here, we're showing a floor standing boiler on this occasion, quite often it will be next to the boiler, somewhere next to the boiler here on a flow return. It will be very, very close. Okay, and it can be on the return run from the radiators, which may be over here. Alright, so it's always on the lowest point. Just keep looking around, and it may even be you've got a radiator valve that is one of this type of thing I've shown you here, where it is actually on the radiator and it's a built-in drain off valve at the same time. Okay, so it could well be one of them. Do look for one of those. On a second drawing over this side, again, you may have a system whereby this cold feed goes into what's called an air separator at the top, an expansion. It's a system that was used quite regularly during the 80s and 90s. I think it's still used a fair bit now. And of course, this one, it depends again, the drain valve will be on the furthest level down. Now on this one I've done it as a wall hung boiler, which a lot of people have. Now the drain off won't be around here because the boiler's still too high. If it is, it's in the wrong place. It's just to drain the boiler out, and the associated pipe work on that. 9 times out of 10 it still will be at the lowest position in the system. So follow your downstairs radiators and see if you can find it. It will be somewhere here, or again it may be one of those radiator valves I've just shown you to drain it out. Alright, now turn the paper over, and this is for a combi, which a lot of you have got, a combi boiler, and you'll find your pipes seem to go straight down to the floor when you've got a combi. This is the way they're piped up, and if you locate the flow and return, sometimes it could be on the flow and return, the drain valve, but if it is and it's before it goes to the floor, that is the wrong place. Once again, it may be on the radiator valve, as I've just shown you on that picture, or it may be under the floor. Now if your pipes are going under the floor and coming up at the radiator, which is quite common on a combi system, you may find a little trap floor where those pipes go under, and find that your drain valve is here under the floor. And the idea is, if you follow the pipe, you may find you've got a little pipe outside the house for emptying the system, and it's done that way to empty the whole lot, everything out of the system, and get it right out of the lowest position. Okay, so if you have a look for that, you may find that that is a case, and it might be carpeted over, so you can't find the little trap door because you've moved in and it's all carpeted over and no one's realised that that's there, and therefore your valve is down there. And quite often this happens, and you know, people can't find the drain cock. Now, if you can't find your drain cock and you don't want to move anything, carpets and stuff wise, to try and find it, I have got a video up there on how to drain the system if you can't find the drain valve. Okay, I'll give you a link to that so you know where to go, and I'll show you on that video how to drain it out if you've got no drain valve or you can't find it. Alright, but generally that is the case for drain valves. And I say, especially the common one, it will be on a radiator valve like that sometimes, but just generally check around. So what we're looking at here, to drain your central heating system out, lowest position possible in the house, that is generally where that drain cock will be, and you'll be able to drain your heating system out through that valve. And I say, I've got that video on how to do it if there's no valve, and you can even then add a valve once that's been done. So that's another job you can do if you haven't got one. Drain it all out the way I've shown you, and then add that valve later on to make life easier for you in the future. Okay, well that's it. Just a little quick one from me on that one. Don't forget, all my videos, you know where to go. Darrington 33. Thanks very much for watching. Catch you next time. Bye bye.